Loki, the spirit of evil. Besides the hideous giant Utgard-Loki, the personification of mischief and evil, whom Thor and his companions visited in Jotunheim, the ancient northern nations had another type of sin, whom they also called Loki, and whom we have already seen under many different aspects. In the beginning, Loki was merely the personification of the hearth fire and the spirit of life. At first a god, he gradually becomes god and devil combined, and ends in being held in general detestation as an exact counterpart of the medieval Lucifer, the prince of lies, the originator of deceit, and the backbiter of the Aesir. By some authorities, Loki was said to be the brother of Odin, but others assert that the two were not related, but had merely gone through the form of swearing blood brotherhood common in the north. Odin, dost thou remember when we in early days blended our blood together, when to taste beer thou didst continuously refuse, unless to both was offered? Sigyn Zeta, Thorpe's translation. Loki's character. While Thor is the embodiment of northern activity, Loki represents recreation, and the close companionship early established between these two gods shows very plainly how soon our ancestors realized that both were necessary to the welfare of mankind. Thor is ever busy and ever in earnest, but Loki makes fun of everything until at last his love of mischief leads him entirely astray, and he loses all love for goodness and becomes utterly selfish and malevolent. He represents evil in the seductive and seemingly beautiful form in which it parades through the world. Because of this deceptive appearance, the gods did not at first avoid him, but treated him as one of themselves, and in all good fellowship, taking him with them wherever they went, and admitting him not only to their merrymakings, but also to their council hall, where, unfortunately, they too often listened to his advice. As we have already seen, Loki played a prominent part in the creation of man, endowing him with the power of motion and causing the blood to circulate freely through his veins, whereby he was inspired with passions. As personification of fire as well as mischief, Loki, or lightning, is often seen with Thor, or thunder, whom he accompanies to Jotunheim to recover his hammer, to Utgard-Loki's castle, and to Geirrod's house. It is he who steals Freya's necklace and Sif's hair, and betrays Yadun with the power of Thiassi. And although he sometimes gives the gods good advice and affords them real help, it is only to extricate them from some predicament that he got them in the first place. Some authorities declare that instead of making part of the creative trilogy, Odin, Honir, and Loder or Loki, this god originally belonged to a pre-Odinic race of deities, and was the son of the great giant Fornjotunir, or Ymir, his brothers being Kari, or air, and Hlir, or water, and his sister Ran, the terrible goddess of the sea. Other mythologists, however, make him the son of the giant Farbauti, who has been identified with Bergelmir, the sole survivor of the deluge, and of Laufia, or Leafy Isle, or Nal, or Vessel, his mother, thus stating that his connection with Odin was only that of the northern oath of good fellowship. Loki, or fire, first married Glut, or Glow, who bore him 2 daughters, Isa, or embers, and Einmyria, or ashes. It is therefore very evident that Norsemen considered him emblematic of the hearth fire, and when the flaming wood crackles on the hearth, the good wives in the north are still wont to say that Loki is beating his children. Besides his wife, Loki is also said to have wedded the giantess Angur-boda, or Anguish and Boding, who dwelt in Jotunheim, and who, as we have already seen, bore him 3 monstrous children: Hel, the goddess of death, the Midgard snake Jormungandr, and the grim wolf Fenris. Loki begat the wolf with Angur-boda. Sigyn Zeta, Thorpe's translation. Sigyn. Loki's 3rd marriage was with Sigyn, who proved a most loving and devoted wife, and bore him 2 sons, Narv, and Vali, the later a namesake of the god who avenged Balder. Sigyn was always faithful to her husband and did not forsake him, even after he had definitely been cast out of Asgard and confined within the bowels of the earth. As Loki was the embodiment of evil in the minds of the northern peoples, they entertained nothing but fear of him, built no temples in his honor, offered no sacrifices to him, and designated the most noxious weeds by his name. The quivering, overheated atmosphere of summer was supposed to be betoken of his presence, for the people were then wont to remark that Loki was sowing his wild oats, and when the sun appeared to be drawing water, they said that Loki was drinking. The story of Loki is so inextricably woven with that of the other gods that most of the myths relating to him have already been told, and there remain but 2 episodes of his life to relate, one showing his better side before he had degenerated into the arch-deceiver, and the other illustrating how he finally induced the gods to defile their peace steads by willful murder. So that was the spirit of evil and Loki's character and Sigyn, the first sections of chapter 22 of Myths of the Norsemen by Helene A Guerber, Loki. I will be working my way through this book section by section, and if there are any other public domain books that you would like for me to read, please leave a comment below. Did you enjoy this video? Then subscribe for more, and be sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. Thank you for listening, and have a lovely evening.